Welcome to Metaphysical Happy Hour. I am your host, Cassie Clayton.
And I'm your co-host, Tracey Escobar, also known as the Red Couch Medium. Hi! Hey!
Hello.
Hey, good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. So we have a fun guest tonight.
We do. I'm excited. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we have Tyson Sharpe with us tonight, and Tyson is the creator of the online community called the Serving Circle, and is also the host of the Awaken Your Business Podcast. Since 2016, it has been his mission to help online spiritual entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers create more reach, impact, and income in their business by integrating spirituality with profitable business strategies. Rather than trying to integrate pushy marketing strategies, Tyson helps entrepreneurs create a consistent and predictable flow of clients in ways that align with their highest excitement.
That's a mouthful.
So, and with that being said, Tyson, we are so glad that you are here and that you are joining us. And thanks so much for hopping on with us.
My pleasure.
Tell everybody where you're from. Everyone's going to want to know. So just introduce yourself. Where are you from?
I'm happy for everyone to have a quick guess first.
Comments. Anybody want to guess?
Melbourne, Australia. Nice. So it's 12 p.m. here when it's in the night there and middle of the night in the UK. So it's the exciting journey of building an online business.
Right? It is. And do you find since COVID that's blossomed more for you? Or was it already leading that way?
Yeah, I mean, well, since COVID, my business has expanded. So it's on the rise, because I think more people now are starting to take their heart's journey more seriously, and so they're going into their spiritual journey. They're going into their heart's calling. They're starting to take more disciplined and determined action on saying, hey, why am I here, and what is it that I really want to create? Now that the job's gone, now that the income sort of faded away, that everyone's just left with that question of, okay, what am I really here for? So when they want to dive in deep on that, that's sort of where they find me, the Serving Circle, and they can start really collaborating to find those answers.
So let's talk about that just for a second. So I want you to tell us what your background is. What is it you do? Funnily, what do you do? How do you help people? Let's start there.
Sure. So I call myself an emotion. It's really a spiritual business coach. I help a lot of light workers, as Cassie was explaining, just to help light workers and help spiritual entrepreneurs build their business in a way that's aligned. Because I know that so many people just have this crazy struggle when they're following their heart's calling to say, oh my God, I want to create something that I love doing. I want to create the impact that I'm here to create. But how the hell do I make money doing that? Or what the hell is my mum going to say? Or, what is it that I do here that's going to allow it to be consistent and predictable? And so that's what I've been able to help people do. I've been able to help them, really couple their spiritual growth and use the business journey for that tool. The business journey I see as a tool and a path for you to grow spiritually. And if you're able to do that and you're able to face your fears, do all the inner healing necessary. Mm-hmm. I know, Tracy, you have some questions about meditation. We'll get into that.
Yes,
but
I do.
when you're able to see the business in that way and see the journey in that way, then everything starts to align. You start to find yourself not only making more money than you thought possible, but also doing it in a way that's fun and in a way where you feel in flow.
Yeah, I think it's super interesting. Now that we're talking, I get a lot of people we get clients all the time, and everyone's looking for their purpose, and everybody who's got gifts are coming and they're trying to figure out what they're supposed to do with them. And 9 times out of 10, well, maybe you should be a psychic. Maybe you should be. What made you do the business avenue, right? From a spiritual perspective, what led you down the business route? How did you zone into business?
Well, it was almost like I zoned into business first and then went into the spirituality. It was, I was helping a lot of business owners with mindset, with their personal development.
Okay.
And from the personal development, I started helping them with their mindset, and their businesses started expanding. But I always loved business courses. I love learning more about marketing, messaging, creating offers, and then delivering in a way that builds a raving fan culture. So that's
Right.
really what I fell in love with. It was really when my business started falling apart and all the income dried up. Well, not all the income, I shouldn't say that, but the clients dried up, and I started my income started diminishing, and that's when all the fear, the uncertainty, the doubt, the oh my God, you're a hypocrite, all of that started coming up. And I realized now, this is about 3 years ago, but I realized now it was sort of life, the universe, God, sort of taking everything that I was attached to, letting it all crumble so I can find out who and what I really am. Because really, I was building my business like many people. Probably I've coached hundreds and hundreds of business owners one-on-one. And I noticed that there was this pattern of them being so attached to the outcome because their worthiness, their safety, their internal love, it all stemmed from the fact that they needed to achieve results, to be successful, to achieve money, to feel safe. And they're all the patterns that were breaking up within me and my life. And so I got into the spiritual journey because I sat here for 6 hours in silence and just sat in this chair. And instead of building my business from fear and from the patterns of needing to feel enough, I just allowed all the emotions to be there. I allowed them to come up to be felt and to be seen. And what I realized was they're actually coming up because they're leaving, and they're coming up because they're ready to be healed. Yeah. And I wasn't taking the time to do that.
So do you think, let's go back to the meditating, do you think that changed your life? So I was reading, you took a challenge, right? So what was the challenge you took on meditating in the very beginning? Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So it was really from that first day when I, I'll share where the challenge came from. So after the 6-hour meditation, I just had tears coming down my face. I was holding space for so much fear and sadness and uncertainty. And I had an insight that said, if you build a community and you fall in love with the art of serving, everything else take care of itself. The clients, the income, the collaborations, the opportunities, everything that you want to see and more. And that's actually where I started rebranding, and that's where the Serving Circle was created. So I created the Serving Circle, and now it's over 2,000 members, and it's a very engaging, loving, heartfelt community. And it stemmed from that meditation. But it was, to answer your question, it was from that I had so many insights and just such releases with my own emotional world. I just decided to say, I'm just going to meditate 2 hours a day. No matter what, that's my priority. I don't care what else happens in my calendar. I'm going to prioritize 2 hours a day, sitting in silence and holding a loving, safe space, whatever comes up within me on this crazy business journey, and see what healing needs to be done. I'm going to build my business based on that. So that was really the challenge. That was about 3 years ago. And I don't meditate 2 hours every day now. It was very regimented and scheduled, but now it's more in flow. I'll do at least an hour in the morning. Often I do an hour at night. Sometimes I do 2 hours at night. Sometimes I do 3 hours during the day. But on average, it averages out now to about 2 hours a day. And I've been doing that for about 3 years.
What do you think the benefits are for our listeners who don't meditate? Because I tell people all the time, meditate, you should be meditating. What do you think the benefits are that changed you?
Everyone has their different ways of meditating. It's sort of like telling people to exercise.
Right.
Everyone has different ways of exercising. You can do gym, you can do runs, you can do Pilates, you can do yoga. When I meditate, the primary meditation that I'm doing is sitting in silence. So every pattern within me is ready to be seen. Whatever's ready to come up in the form of my fears, my judgments, my attachments, and where I'm in resistance, that's what I call the fear jar. That's where everyone's caught in the fear jar, and that's the acronym for your fears, your judgments, where you're attached, and where you're in resistance. And I ask myself those questions to say, okay, what sides of me need to be seen? What emotions might I be avoiding? What parts of me might I be neglecting? And in order for me to welcome whatever emotions are coming up and hold a loving, safe space for it, that's where the inner healing takes place. And so on our soul's journey and on our spiritual mission, we're being guided to love all sides of us, love all sides of life. And this is just the space I give myself permission to do so. Instead of trying to build my life to avoid all of it, I'm giving myself that space.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that. Can we go back to your serving circle? What is that? Tell us a little bit more about that. What is the
Sure.
serving circle? Mm-hmm.
The Serving Circle is the community on Facebook. Okay. And like I said, it's recently passed 2,000 members. Okay. And it's basically a place for spiritual entrepreneurs to collaborate with each other. It really stems from the belief and the knowing that in order to heighten consciousness, it's really going to take spiritual business owners to thrive. And so it's really in there where we heighten consciousness of the planet by helping everyone's businesses thrive in the form of reach, in the form of collaborations, more clients, more income. And the more you give your gift out to the world through a successful, thriving business, the more you're giving the world what it needs. So it's really in this community where the premise is that you align with your business and your business journey and your heart when you come from a place of service. So when we jump on the collaborative calls, we have like 35 people each week jump on Zoom each week. Okay. And everyone gets to share their business, but most importantly, the energy is there because everyone's asking themselves, how may I serve this person? They realign with themselves, their heart, when they say, how may I serve this person? From a place of non-attachment, non-expectations and assumptions, but let's just serve because that's who and what I am. And that's really where the energy comes from.
Absolutely. So and I just wanted to add to that. It's one of the reasons I actually attend the Serving Circle, and just one of the things I really, really love about it is the fact that the energy is so unique as compared to other networking groups that I've been a part of, and it's just like it's such an awesome experience because it's unlike any of the other ones that are out there or that I've experienced myself. So yeah.
You think because the energy is different, it's not about what I can get, it's about what I can give?
Yeah.
That's what I believe. I can hypothesize many things. We actually got a negative comment on yesterday's call because a lady's face was hurting so much because she was smiling. So
I love that.
I'll take that to heart.
I'll take that too. Yes. I'll take that too. How has it evolved? I mean, how do you grow? Is it just word of mouth? People find you? How has it evolved over the time?
It's definitely evolved over time, I believe, because of the energy. I think this is the feedback I get consistently. It's consistently is that when I'm engaging in my community, whether I'm on calls, whether I'm messaging people, creating, offers for them, people can feel my heart. They really do feel my heart. And I think when they share that and they also share, that's why the community is so loving, so supportive, so kind, so compassionate, is because that's what I'm attracting, and that's what we're attracting. So to answer your question, right now it's really growing through word of mouth. In the last, from the stats in the last 28 days or so, it's grown by about 120 people. Okay. So it's growing each month really nicely, off the back of just the members themselves being so kind, so caring, so compassionate and loving that they want to share it with their friends. And so that's really where I feel called to show up on those Zoom calls and creating offers, creating programs, creating content for people, because I feel so compelled to just add value to what I feel like is my soul family. And when I'm able to do that, I think everything just expands. Love is an expansive emotion. Mm-hmm. And when it comes from who and what we really are, that's really where people want to share it. And so it's on the back of that and on the back of the members that it's really starting to move forward.
I had someone comment on TikTok about something, so we'll ask that question in a minute. But I wanted to ask you, let me get my thoughts back for a second. What's your process? So like, let's say I'm an entrepreneur. Why would I seek you out for help? What would that look like, right? In a spiritual sense, because I do have a spiritual business too. So if I needed help, like I feel like everybody's number one block is fear, right? So I still have a corporate America job, and then I still have my spiritual business on the side, right? There's a lot of fear around leaving. Is that the kind of thing you help people through? Is there fear? Of
course. Many of my clients, when we jump on, we do 2 group coaching calls per week. And sometimes I go for like 2.5 hours. And the vast majority of the time, I'm just helping them heal whatever needs to be healed.
Okay.
If someone, for example, whenever someone is growing a business and it's not growing financially the way they want it,
right,
it's because of something inside that needs to be seen, right? It's because of something internally that we're being called to. And I believe your soul, your higher self, whatever you want to call it, is always guiding you through the path of life so that you can find who and what you really are, so you can become more whole. And so when we have emotional intensity or animation around something, whether it feels exciting to grow a business, but it feels scary to ask for money, or it's exciting to grow a business and do all of this, but it feels scary to put myself out there and be open to be criticized and judged. One of the biggest patterns is around money.
Mm-hmm.
It's around saying, hey, I want to grow my business, but I also have to do this thing. Now, I believe people should be in jobs if that's their highest, if that's their calling. When I started sitting in silence for 2 hours a day, I was working in a restaurant. Mm-hmm. And I was working in a restaurant and I was also doing my coaching business. And at the time, I wasn't making much money in both, or either, I should say. And my heart consistently said, leave the job. Do the coaching full time. It said, leave the job. You'll be supported. I didn't know how. I didn't know what the hell was going to happen, but I decided to leave and I decided to take that leap. I'm like, in what path should I lead? Am I going to stay in the job where it feels like my soul's constricting, or leap into a place that's unknown where it feels expansive? And so a lot of the times when I'm working with someone, especially in the spiritual community who's growing a business, the emotional patterns are around fear, around money, that says money's my safety. Yes. I need to make money to feel safe. And what life will always guide you to is to say, we need to break that down and heal that pattern so you realize that you are safe. You are the safety. You are your own, you are the love, you are the guidance, you are everything you are after. And that's the pattern we're just consistently running up against. And it's only when you start healing that you'll realize that everything in your business will start to expand. Because you know that you can physically or energetically, to do with money, go broke and you're perfectly fine. And you're perfectly safe. You're still divine. You're still guided. You're still loved. That's when you're now safe to receive it. I could talk about this forever, but I'll see if you have any questions.
No, I think that's good because a lot of us are surrounded by fear. I mean, I think that's just part of it. So I think it's really good to talk about, because people who've gone out on a limb and quit and did their life's passion, I mean, that's a scary thing for all of us too, right? And we have a lot of listeners who are kind of going through some things too right now. And it's just scary. And I guess for me, it's the money. Money is safety, right? So it's hard to walk away from the 9 to 5 because it's safe, right? I have money flowing. And so there's a lot of fear around it. So I think that's just very interesting. Some people say, take that leap of faith and just do it, right? But it's scary. It's scary. Would you coach someone just to quit? Because that comes up a lot too. People who are like getting into the spiritual business, I don't always just coach that. I don't say you should just quit your job because we all have to eat. But do you have any advice for people who are just starting?
I don't have advice in terms of right now to say yes or no.
Yeah.
I guide them to the point where they know.
Okay.
So your heart will always guide you to what's in your expansion. This is what's crazy. When I'm coaching with people and we're coaching on their business and we're overcoming all the fears in their business, all of a sudden their heart guides them to what's in their expansion, even if they don't know why. I've had many people move countries, many people move interstate, many people find the love of their life, many people get a divorce. There's just crazy things happen where their heart's like, it's being guided here. I don't know why, but all of a sudden I need to heal what comes up on that journey. Yeah. So I'll give you an example to do with money. If we're in a job and our heart's calling us to leave, now your heart may call you to stay and say, hey, there's some advantage here. and whatever, but you can feel, especially if you meditate, especially if you meditate 2 hours a day. But when your heart says leave, when it feels exciting but expansive and scary, that's how you know it's your heart's leap. Now, if you're playing God for a second, if you're playing life, universe, if you're your higher self, and it's your job as your higher self to teach you down here in the 3D world who and what you are is more than money.
Right.
Who and what you are is more than outcomes and results. Wouldn't it make sense that if you're trying to grow your business because you need to make money to feel safe, wouldn't it make sense, given that goal, to not have you welcome in money if you're attached to it? The analogy I use is like the 3-year-old. You ask a 3 or 4-year-old, hey, what do you want for dinner? They'll say ice cream.
Right.
And then you say, okay, cool. What do you want for breakfast? They'll say ice cream. And what about lunch? Maybe chocolate ice cream this time. Just mix it up a little bit.
Right.
And that's what I sort of see is when someone's attached to something, when they say, oh, I need this thing to feel enough and safe and loved. I need money and I need recognition. I need Instagram followers and I need people to like this. If you're energetically attached to it, you're not safe to receive it, because it's life's job to teach you that who and what you are is not that outcome. It's not that result. And so therefore, like in my journey, I had to lose a lot of the money and the business and the clients for me to realize, oh, who and what I am is so much more than that. And that's where the serving circle was birthed. But that's when you can energetically say, if I'm not attached to any of this, and I know and live my life from the fact that who and what I am is source, spirit, God, my higher self, then I can welcome in so much of the abundance, because I know I'm fine without it.
Right. I think it's so fascinating. It's all mindset, right? It's just all mindset work. It's all getting your mind into the right place and having no fear. And I like how you said, don't be attached to an outcome, because that's what drives most of us. We're wanting to be successful. And I like on your website too, stop looking for success to feel enough. So I think that's a really good quote tagline to use as well, because that's what we do, right? We find our worth in success, in jobs, and right. So I think anything you do, my go-to is mediumship. So that's what my specialty is. But just like anything, when you're training to be like a medium, the healing comes with it, right? So all you're saying too is in business, if you want to have a good business, the healing still comes with it, because with it comes patterns, paradigms, your mind work, all the stories you tell yourself, right? So it's just about, it's all, at the end of the day, it's all about healing, right? Healing the trauma, doing the mindset work, being in a place of gratitude so that you can receive. So I think it's fascinating. Let's ask if there's any questions out there. Cass, you see anything?
We've got a couple hi hellos, and a couple of cheers.
Cheers.
what we're talking about. Any questions from TikTok? Okay, I think maybe she got glitchy on us. It is kind of storming here in Dallas, so sometimes when it's stormy weather, she has a bit of she lives a little bit further out of town, so it's a little harder for her to sometimes get that reception. So
it's a good thing I can riff on for hours.
Right. So what we'll do is oh, she's coming back on. There we go.
It's bad weather here. It's got stormy over here, so sorry about that. Yeah, fighting the weather. That's one thing that happened when we went online. Now we have to fight the weather. Make sure our connections don't drop. So you have a podcast too, and it's called, what is it called? Awaken Your Business. How long have you been doing your podcast?
Oh, good question. I think 2 years. We're at episode 157.
Nice.
So I think it's 2 years, 2 and a bit years, 3 years. I don't know time frame, but it's episode 257, and it's just been awesome. I think one of the keys with finding your voice is to just talk and get it
Just
out there.
talk.
Hey, and it really is. I used to do so many group coaching calls for the serving circle members where I'm like, all right, let's just all jump on Zoom and let's just basically enjoy my rants. And it was fun, but it's where I really found my voice, where I was able to speak with confidence and people were able to share their interactions and transformations. So I just started doing that. And that's what a podcast allows you to do. Every week you just jump on an episode, and either you're interviewing someone, you're doing a solo episode, you're doing some coaching, and it's just a bunch of fun.
No, I love it. Do you think that we had another business coach on, like, do you think in someone's professional, you should have coaches throughout your journey in business? Like, do you think that's needed for people, like to have a business coach to help? I know, because Cassie, you've taken some business classes and it's changed your whole, I just feel like it's changed everything for you.
Yes, absolutely. I am a big advocate for having coaches, finding the right coaches, the ones that are really going to help you move forward, because it has been
it's a game changer.
Yeah.
Do you find that, Tyson, for you, your clients saying the same thing? It's a game changer. Why do you think that is? Because people just can't see what's in front of them? They just can't focus?
Yeah. Well, I guess also when it comes to coaches, not only do you get to see your blind spots, it forces you to be committed to the outcomes you want. Right? So
accountable?
you're completely accountable. The first real, to give you an example, the first real business coach I hired, it was $12,000 and I didn't have that money.
Whew.
And so here's what happened. I had I was in a short 6-week program, which was a few $100s, something like that. And it was a group program, but then he was upselling into one-on-one coaching and this year-long mastermind. And I didn't have $12,000. What had to happen was I put down the deposit of $2,000.
Okay. And
then I had to make my first ever 10 grand month the next month in order for me to continue the program. Now, here's why I did it.
Wow.
Here's why I did it.
Yeah.
Because I realized that if we make our decisions based on our circumstances, our current circumstances, we'll always achieve what we've always gotten. And here's why. The current circumstance you find yourself in, your current income, your current client base, your current health, your current physical location has been because of the decisions you made in the past. So if you continue to make the decisions on what you see around you in your physical life, then you can't ever evolve into the version of you who's capable of achieving something else.
Okay.
We have always evolved when we not make the decisions based on our current circumstances, but make decisions based on who we need to become.
Yeah.
So I made a decision that said, holy crap, I'm going to put down this deposit and I'm just going to find a way. I'm just going to be resourceful and find a way to have my first $10,000 month and then continue the program. And it was at the time, it was pretty funny. It's at the time I was raising a guide dog puppy.
Okay.
And I just started raising a guide dog puppy and had no clue what the amount of time investment was for that. It turns out it's a lot. She wasn't allowed to be left alone for more than 2 hours.
Oh, you're kidding.
It was a crazy journey. She was so beautiful. But one of the, I was really faced in that scenario with, well, you have to find a way to make it work. So I ended up her name was Lola. I ended up using Lola in a lot of my marketing. And I actually asked myself the question, how do I use this scenario? I'm always hanging out with this dog and she's always barking. And I'm going to find a way to train her / grow my coaching business. I put out a post on Facebook that says, hey, I'm raising this guide dog puppy. What I'd love to do is use this time while I'm looking after her to also serve. So let's get on pattern chats. So anyone who wants to get on a pattern chat while I'm just patting this dog, looking after her, I'll also get on a chat, serve you in some way. And and see what happens. And it was from that I ended up getting the clients necessary to achieve the 10K to then continue in the coaching program. But I had to evolve into the version of me who saw it as a possibility and as something that is an opportunity, rather than the side of me who says, oh my God, I can't do that because I didn't have the money.
Exactly. And then you get stuck in that mindset and you don't ever do anything. Like you said, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior, right? So if your past behavior has gotten you so far, that's exactly where you're going to keep going, right? So I think that's another example of why coaching is probably so important too. It just helps keep you accountable. You have someone to answer to, right? You have someone giving you things to do to better your business, and you better come to the table doing some of those things. So I think that's fascinating. Yes.
Yeah.
I know Cassie's enjoyed her experience. So I've never had a business coach. So it's all fascinating for me.
Yeah. So, and the one thing that I will say is like actually coming to the serving circle. A lot of the times we'll like hang on a little bit after and like continue having, like Tyson will kind of lead us in like an extra, like it's kind of like a bonus session.
Hey.
A bonus session. And so, but yeah, good. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I find it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
So you know that you found your passion,
Mhm.
right? When it's something you can talk about all day long, when it's something you're excited about, you want to bring people on, you don't feel like it's a job, right? Then that's what I tell people: find something you love to do and make it your purpose. Make money at it. Do what you can. That's what happiness is, I think. Yes. Yeah. Let's ask if there's any questions. Anybody out there wanting to start their small business, have any questions for Tyson? Let us know on TikTok, on Facebook. I think we're on YouTube as well. Just give us some questions. Let's poke his brain. We have him on. Like we can ask,
Absolutely.
right?
One of the things that comes up for me as well, like what you were just saying, it's what I call the energy of what I call falling in love with Mondays.
Yeah.
It's really the blessing. Like I wake up every day and I'm just so blessed. I'm so grateful the fact that I get to do what I love, make money doing it, create the difference I'm here to create, and feel intuitively feel this is exactly what I'm meant to do.
Yeah.
It's only when people are following a path of safety, or they're following a path that they think they should be doing, and internally they're saying at some level, man, I don't think I'm meant to be doing this. That's what'll eat up your soul. And I think you will always be guided to follow your heart and find out who and what you really are on that journey. I'm just very lucky that I started on that journey and had the courage to do so, and then help people do the same. So if you can fall in love with Mondays, on the weekends, I'm often looking at my phone being like, can't it be Monday? Because that's when I do my group coaching calls. And I'm like, I just can't wait to do it.
Yeah. I think it's when you know and you love what you do, that's what it feels like. So everybody who's stuck and dreading, like I'm dating, and he complains every day when he gets home from work, complains every day. I'm like, it's time for you to retire. If you like, I don't complain one bit, right? Because I love what I do. It's just a love and a passion. But when you come home every day complaining, it's like, okay, it's time to make some changes, right? It's not worth it. Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I've like kind of, because Tracy, you've kind of watched me kind of evolve my entire business. I was messaging one of my coaches this earlier today, and I was like, so this is what it's like this is what it should feel like to be an entrepreneur. And she was like, this is absolutely what it can feel like. Because I just took that moment in the day and I was like, this is just awesome.
Yeah. So that brings up a good point though, Cassie. Do you find, because you attract spiritual people, do they have a problem with money, making money?
I'm gonna say a lot of the times not the clients that I am working with.
Yeah, because a lot of people who get into the spiritual business have a hard time charging what they're worth. And there's a whole stigma around money and gifts and things like that. So I was just wondering, do you run into that too, Tyson? Where people...
I would explain it in a different way. I would explain no one has troubles charging money. No one has troubles welcoming in money. They just have the patterns that stop them doing that. Right. Okay. They just have that's not who and what they really are. Who and what they really are is abundance, and they realize that everything is one. So welcoming in money is the exact same as welcoming in a hug. It's exactly the same as it's exactly this exchange as paying for a meal when you go out to dinner. It's an exchange. It's an exchange, and it's all energy, and it's all who and what you really are. And so who and what we really are would never struggle to have issues with money. It's just the patterns that we've been conditioned through. It's patterns of the ego. It's patterns of safety. It's prioritizing safety and significance over our growth that allows us to see money in a certain way, which therefore restricts it from being welcomed in.
Yeah. And also, like, one of the things that I want to add there is it's not so much that people have an issue with the, like Tyson was saying, with the charging of money. It's knowing that their value and what they're worth.
Yeah.
Because
people will undercharge.
Yeah.
Right?
People will undercharge when they don't understand the value either that they bring, or they don't have the self-confidence to bring that in. And so like that was probably one of my biggest challenges is when I started doing my business, I did not know what the work actually was worth. And two, it was when I understood it was just, I didn't necessarily believe that I deserved to make that. And so for me, it's just been a journey, not just with working with my business coaches. It's been the spiritual journey I've been on with you and with Colby, and it's building that confidence and my belief in myself. And now I'm in a place where I'm like, oh, this is fun. This is going to get really, really fun.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so I think it's more just, it's that perception of, okay, I can charge that, because even I think one of my business coaches and I were talking, because there's a partner that I'm working with, and I was kind of talking to him about, like, hey, services and things like that, and it was just it was like some of the prices he had were a little bit on the lower end, and so when I was talking to him, it just kind of took a clarity call of like, hey, here's where I'm at. And then once we had that conversation, it was like, he was like, oh, well, I'm good with that. I just didn't know where you were at. And so, sometimes it is just that bit of a clarity, but it's also the fact that it's like, you can put a price tag on your services, but if you don't believe you're worth receiving it and accepting it, then it's still not going to come in.
True. Right? It's a whole vibration thing. Going back to spiritual stuff, it's a whole vibration thing. I believe what you attract too. I bet that's exciting though, as a coach, Tyson, to watch someone start and then to flourish. Like, do you like that part of it, to watch where someone starts and where they end? That would probably be a rewarding process for me, just to watch. Oh,
it's crazy. It is crazy. It's when you do the inner work and you're willing to, when you're willing to ask the question, and I pose this to everyone on here as well, because I do this to the Serving Circle members, that really allows you to break down your ego. But for those who are willing to ask themselves the question of asking the universe, show me who and what I really am, regardless of the consequences. Show me who I really am, regardless of the consequences.
I'm gonna write that down.
Regardless if I go broke, if people hate me, if I end up alone, if I get sick, whatever it may be, show me who and what I really am, regardless of the consequences.
Yeah.
People who are in my program are willing to ask that question, and they're willing to go on the journey of whatever they need to face, whatever internal struggles they need to go on, anything. And the shifts that happen are crazy, absolutely crazy. The very first person who I coached around this sort of spiritual journey, his name's AJ Mirzad. He's on Instagram. He's got a big following on Instagram, but he at the time was falling out of alignment with what he was doing and everything like that. And we got on a call. To put it long story short, and he'll share this, and he shared it in a podcast episode, so I have permission. but he had a $360,000 tax bill he didn't know how he was going to pay.
Woo.
He didn't know how he was going to pay it. He was freaking out. We did this inner work.
Okay.
And he sent me a message and he's like, man, I don't know how I'm going to pay this and whatever. He did all the inner work around it. And then he finally messaged me saying, I surrender.
Yeah.
I just completely surrender. And when you say surrender like that, it's not a giving up.
No.
It's a giving up to your higher self. It's giving up to there's something bigger here that's happening than my ego and my mind. So let's surrender to my higher self and see what's divinely guided here. He got a call from the IRS saying you don't have to pay it anymore.
Wow.
Saying you don't have to pay this anymore. There was a mistake. You don't have to pay it anymore. In fact, we owe you $90,000.
Shut up.
He sent me a message, and I'm like,
there you go.
What the hell are the lessons here? After that, he's following his heart. And once again, long story short, his heart calls him to Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
He goes there and he breaks his leg. He overcomes all this inner work. And he says, after a couple of weeks later, he says, I feel more free in this wheelchair than I did outside of it. Because he had all these expectations on how he had to look. He couldn't receive help, and now he had to receive help, all these different things. He felt more free in that wheelchair than outside. And one of the crazy things is he went to the gym because he couldn't go to the gym anymore. So he went to the gym, had to cancel his membership. The person he was talking to was Brazilian. And she said, oh, my God, I can't believe this happened in my country. And she started asking him, started looking after him. What do you think happened? Now the love of his life.
Shut up.
Now the love of his life.
Wow.
And this is what happens when you follow your heart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have the three things that really summarize this. These are the three guiding principles I remind my clients of every single call. One, you have to feel fully. If you feel fully and you're willing to feel all the emotions on the roller coaster of life, you will heal what needs to be healed. If you're willing to feel fully, you're willing to feel all the emotions. Two, you have to follow your heart. So while you're feeling fully, you will be guided on your journey to see what feels expansive, what feels scary, what feels exciting. You have to follow your heart. You have to take those leaps. And three, you have to forget about the expectations or assumptions as to what will happen next. You have to forget about the attachments of what that may lead to. Like with AJ, he said he left he went to Brazil, and his heart guided him there, and he broke his leg. Now he can say, "Oh my God, I'm never trusting my heart again. Oh my God, why did this lead me here?" And he just said, "No, it's meant to happen for a reason. I detached from the outcomes. All I knew is my heart guided me there, led him to the love of his life."
Perfect. I'm writing all this down. Yeah. Have you ever thought about writing a book? You have a book.
I don't know. We'll see what's next.
Yeah. I prophesize over you. You've got a book in you.
I will say this, the point that I love that you bring up is that you to truly manifest what you want, you kind of have to surrender to surrender the how a lot of the times. I know a lot of the times when I'm trying to manifest, it's like I try to hold on to the idea of how I think it's gonna work. And when I just go, hey, universe, I need this. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know why it's going to happen. I don't know how you're going to make it happen, but please, thank you.
I think a lot of times we don't listen to the inspiration. We don't walk through the doors that are presented because of fear. And right? Yeah, absolutely. And I was saying, flow and grow. I tell all my clients, just flow. If you just trust and surrender, you'll be exactly where you need to be taken. And you just got to listen and not overthink it, not overanalyze it. And I just go. That's kind of my philosophy. Just go. Yes. Know your worth to get those champagne clients. That's what Stephanie just said.
Yes. Champagne clients. That is something we talk about absolutely in my coaching sessions.
Hello, guys. Hi. So we're going to get ready to pull cards. We've got 15 minutes left of the show, so I'm going to scroll through TikTok and see what questions we have. Hello, Jasmine's mommy. Hello. What's for dinner? I had no dinner. Do you guys have dinner? Someone had lasagna. I haven't had dinner yet.
But and as we were talking before the show, that we were chatting with Tyson. Tyson, we know you're not. You don't do the readings, but if you do have some insight that you feel you would like to toss in, I'm sure our viewers would love to hear everything you have to say. So,
yeah,
done deal.
All right. Anybody? Do we have any? I gotta go see. Anybody want to?
We've got one person up here, Melissa Jackson. Says,
hello, Melissa. I'm gonna shuffle. Yep. If you guys want me to pull a card on TikTok, just give me your real name. I can't understand your guys' names, so give me your real name, and then I'll pull a card for you. High Vibes 555 wants career guidance. See, I want a name. All right, Melissa, I'm pulling a card. Ooh. Wow, the card that jumped out at me, Melissa, is Angel of Miracles. Open your heart and expect a miracle. So kind of like we were just talking about, surrender to what is and what will be. Miracles are coming your way. So I don't know if you're kind of going through a rough patch at the moment or there's something kind of going on, but just know the angels are surrounding you and they're coming in to help. Okay, so not to worry, surrender. That's like a big word today. I'm just going to write it down, just to surrender. Remember, we're not really in control ever, are we? Right?
no,
Right. So we're really not. Yeah. Just trust your instinct, trust your intuition. Everything's going to be fine. What you got, Cass?
I pulled the perception card, and just something that what I kind of feel with this is that it's just like, it's taking that look, and what I want to say with this is like making sure you're viewing things through the right glass. Sometimes we get that, like, if we meet someone and we're like, oh my gosh, I hurt this person, we're kind of looking through those rose tinted, where we may not see their faults, or we will start to ignore the red flags. And I feel like it's just making sure that we're it's okay to move beyond your comfort zone. Just make sure that you're looking at things through the right lens.
Yeah, good job. So Deanna wants career guidance, please. Career guidance. She's the high fives. Deanna. So Deanna, I pulled a card, this one, and it's self-reliance. Don't be afraid to fly solo. So don't be afraid to make that jump, make those choices. If you're not happy, go make yourself happy. And if that means changing, then I think you're being supported 100%. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. We talked a lot about that on the show today. Fear is our number one block. Fear will keep you from living an authentic life and keep you from being who you're meant to be. So do the work. As Tyson would say, let's meditate and find, right? Hold that space and figure out what your soul wants to do, what your heart is leading you to do, and just listen. I think we all have the answers. We just don't listen, right? We all have the answers to our own self. We just don't listen and trust. So that's what I would say. Trust and don't be afraid. There you go. What you got, Cassie?
I got the throat chakra. So, which makes a lot of sense, because and the one thing I will say with the throat chakra card is it is about speaking your voice. So I do feel like stepping in that power, being able to say what's on your mind, use your voice. But like Tracy said, a lot of people do associate the throat chakra just with speaking, and the throat chakra is about both ways. Mm-hmm. It's just as much about listening as it is to speaking as well.
There you go.
So, and I know that was that was around business. So, Tyson, do you have any thoughts for?
Well, this is something that is triggering for a lot of people, which is perfect. And I believe you always know what to do. I believe you always know what to do. your heart will always guide you to what you want to do. It's just sometimes we have those patterns of fears that say, oh, I need some validation to say, let's do this from a place of safety. Let me get some validation to know that I need it. Sometimes you're being guided to something where you don't know why. And that's perfectly for a reason, so you can develop the courage and the strength to trust.
Right.
So I believe you always know what to do next. It's just a matter of if you have the courage to do so. And if you and notice if you're in a pattern of trying to look for external validation to say, oh, is this the right thing to do so I can leap from safety? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I've got for you.
Yeah. No, I love it. Yeah. We have Nikki. Nikki wants us to pull a card. She's on Facebook and on TikTok. I saw you in both places. So I pulled the card for Nikki. You see her?
Yes.
Nicolasa. That's a beautiful name.
Nicolasa.
I hope I said that right. And I got Nikki the money card, find ways to abundance. So it's interesting how the cards we're going to be pulling today are going to be all about kind of what we've talked about today. It just goes right in line with it. I just think that's hilarious. But anyway, I don't think I've ever pulled this card ever on a live, but today is the day. So finding ways to abundance. So finding out what your higher self should be doing. Such a believer in find your passion and turn your passion into purpose and make money doing what you love. Just find that way. And so I feel like money may be on your mind a lot. Things are, whatever you're going through, it's all around money and what's next for you. So I want you to trust, surrender and trust, and whatever ideas are coming to you, implement them, make goals, set goals, do some implementation, do some manifesting with money around money. So I think you are in a cycle where abundance can find you. So we just got to get you there, right? So manifesting, writing down the things that you want, finding ways to bring it in. What you got, Cassie?
I pulled the sacral chakra. And so that chakra is all about like having the ability to flow with our passions and our desires and finding that thing that really stimulates our creativity and helps us manifest the success and abundance in our lives.
See, abundance.
Absolutely.
There's a theme here. There's a theme.
And I love that it's such a bright, like gold. It's got a lot of orange in it, but this card also has a whole lot of gold in it as well. So.
Does it? Yeah.
Yeah.
How funny. Hey, look at Michelle Odom wants a pull. Let me pull a card for Michelle.
Yes.
Hi, Michelle.
Hello, Michelle.
Hello, Michelle.
Michelle has been on this show a number of times.
Yeah, Michelle. Yay. Yes. I got the dragon card for you, Michelle. Discover your courage. So I feel like you're like at this point where you're just trying to break through, figuring out what's next in you. And I'm all about career right now is where I'm feeling it too. So just discover your courage and push through. Take that leap and don't be afraid, right? Don't let the fear block get to you. But you're right on the edge of breaking free and breaking out. So I don't know if there's a job change coming or you're wanting to make a move with that, but I feel like you're just about to break through and break out. So I would maybe Google spirit animal dragon and see if that fits for you. But that's what I got for you. Discover your courage.
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid.
Yes. And the card that I got is passion. And I think that this is really just a time to figure out what really I actually I think you do know those things that you're passionate about. And I do think, and even as I'm reading the card, it's insight, balance, calm. So I think you're definitely on the right track, and it is a card about moving you from chaos. So like Tracy said, it's like you're right there. Just keep staying the course, keep doing the things that you are passionate about, keep building it because you are on the road to success, my dear.
Yay. Love it.
Absolutely.
And a lot of what Tyson said today goes for all of us, because I know some of these people on here, we're all our own worst block, right? There's fear around things that we want to do. So great show. I have Chrissy next. Chrissy, let's pull a card. Chrissy. Let's see what we get, Chrissy. Hello. Ooh. Chrissy, and she's on TikTok. So just so we'll keep track, that one's on TikTok. So Chrissy, I got the competition, summon the courage and self-confidence. So it's all about self-confidence for you, my dear. It's like you have everything within you to succeed and move forward. You just struggle with believing in yourself. And so we talked about that today, working through some of that trauma, working through some of our belief systems and patterns that we already have built into our brain that's taken us all these years to write our story. We need to rewrite it. So find your confidence, summon the courage to make the choices that you need to make right now and the decisions that are coming your way, right? Find the courage. What you got, Cass?
I actually drew the belief card.
Ooh, belief.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and it says the frequency of belief supports our sense of self-worth based on our gifts and talents and a strong connection to source.
Nice.
And I feel like with that, it's gonna, the more you start believing in yourself and you start trusting in yourself and you start trusting that you're trusting the universe and start believing that you're supported, that's just going to bring out it's going to make you shine and shine and shine and just keep moving in a direction that you're happy with. But it does start very much with that belief.
Very good. Very nice. We have room for a couple more. We have like 3 minutes. So I wrote names down, so we're just going to go fast. Jenna, pull a card for Jenna. Okay. Jenna, I got Seek Clarity. So this is a beautiful card, and she's over here on TikTok, so I'm going to show TikTok, and I'll show you guys too. But it's like the Phoenix Rising. It's about finding who you are. It's about believing and realizing who you are from the inside out. And so I would say that this card means it's time to go like on a self-awareness journey, right? Figuring out what you really want out of life, figuring out where you're being led, and figuring out if it's the right moves for you. So it's time to seek clarity. And for me, that means going within and seeking the clarity from within. So as Tyson would say, it's time to meditate. Time to meditate. 2 hours a day. I'm going to start doing that again. I used to do it a lot. I don't do it as much.
Yeah. So the card that I actually pulled is the Authority card. And I feel like with this one, it's, the more in alignment you get with your direct, like you have a very powerful, I want to say presence, because it's like when you speak, people are going to listen. So the more you are open to saying your truth, speaking your truth, being yourself, being authentic, I think the more people are going to actually be drawn to you.
Good.
Tyson, do you have any thoughts there?
I think you guys are nailing it. I'm just enjoying hanging back and listening.
We probably have room for one more, maybe two. I have the name Lauren. Let's pull a card for Lauren. Lauren, I got choices. So around you right now is about choices and making the best choices. And I have to say the best choices for you and not for anybody else. So now it's time to put yourself first. It's time to make the choices that are going to make you personally happy. If you're not happy, people around you aren't going to be happy. So I'm a big believer. It's you have to do what's right for you, and then everything else will fall into line. So it's time to make choices around you and trying to make choices that are much better than maybe you have made in the past. So it's all about choices for you. Choices, choices, choices.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
And the card that I pulled is Remembrance. And what this card represents is it's like all the things that we've been through in the past. It's just a reminder for us. Like, you don't have to take it with you. Learn from those decisions. Learn from like every decision that you've ever made. That's a tool for you to use to either continue making a choice or deciding to change that. And so it's really up to you what direction you want to go in. But I do feel like it's more of take your toolbox and then decide and create what you want to keep and what you want to toss.
Yep. Very good. And with that, Tyson, where can people find you?
You can search the Serving Circle on Facebook.
Okay.
That's where you can find the community and jump in there. Many things on there. I've now created a welcome pack so people can get access to the collaboration calls, a course complimentary that I call Spirit in Business. It's going to show you all the shifts that you need to create internally to welcome in a consistent flow of clients. You're going to love it. I've had over 100 people go through that now with just incredible results. Good. And we've also created a directory so that people can list out all their business details and they start connecting with everyone in the group who they need to connect with a bit more ease. So there's some things that they can enjoy and benefit. But if you search the Serving Circle, if you search me on Facebook and find me there, then you can do that. I think that's the best way.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being on our show. I know it's late, but is it late or is it really early?
It's 1 p.m. My nap time.
Yeah. So it's later here. It's 8 p.m. here. But anyway, you can find me, Tracy Escobar, the Red Couch Medium, on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. And Cassie, where can people find you?
They can find me at Stargazers Unite, stargazersunite.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I help people build brand identities that help radiate their soul into the world. And that is beautiful. What I do. And for Metaphysical Happy Hour, we are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Under Metaphysical Happy Hour, we have metaphysicalhappyhour.com. You can also find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, all other podcast platforms.
Yay! Well, thanks again, Tyson, for being on the show. We appreciate you. And for everybody out there, we'll see you next time. Have a good night. Bye.
Thank you.